This week on Convincing Idiots, we have Meta Stops Fact Checking, Golden Globes, we touch on that a little bit, and then our least favorite month. We discuss, you're going to listen to it, you're going to hear it, but our main event. We talk about characters we didn't like as a kid, but now we either respect or love. All of that, so much more. Unfortunately, we're Nicholas. It's just Brian and I. But why not? Stay tuned. And let's start the show.
You guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test.
Test.
Call it again?
Convincing idiots.
Convincing idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Caucasian.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean, the Zennial.
I'm Brian Gen X.
And we are, unfortunately, Nicholas once again. He is off on assignment, secret, super duper secret assignment, and will be back with us next week. Until that, you have Brian and I.
That's
Lucky
right.
you.
That's right. What a way to start off your new year,
That's right. Well,
ladies
I
and
mean,
gentlemen. It was
probably
India's wish.
resolution.
India's wish would just be you and I. There you go.
That's
Thumbs
right.
up.
as
Yeah.
a thumbs up. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely.
That's right. So I'll remind everybody again who we are and all that good stuff. So we're friends from different generations talking all things nerd and pop culture. We get together each and every week to talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about, pop culture wise, etc. So you might be listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. We can be found anywhere you listen to podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Pocket Cast, wherever. So just
Your mama's
simply
cast.
your mama's cast. That's right. Just simply search the Convincing Idiots podcast. Give us a free follow or subscribe, and we will pop into your podcast feed free of charge each and every week. Haven't mentioned this lately either, but if you have a smart speaker device, you can ask her to play the
Yeah.
Convincing Idiots podcast, and we will play throughout your entire home. What better way to relax in your home than hear the subtle, manly voices of us?
You're
right?
going to make the family so much happier
Yeah.
if everybody gets to listen together.
Exactly right. Yeah, play us at the dinner table. Yeah.
It'd be like it's reminiscent of listening to FDR do the fireside chats during the 1940s. You
Absolutely.
remember that, Brian, right?
Of course.
All right.
High school years. You know?
That's right.
You also might be watching us on our YouTube channel or YouTube music channel at Convincing Idiots. Give us a free subscribe there as well. All show information can be found in two main places. Our Linktree page is simply Google Linktree Convincing Idiots. Simply a page with links to our social media, etc. And if you go one place, go to the website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. All show information's there. Ways to sponsor the show, links to our merch store, Dean, videos, etc. If you do anything at all, tell a friend, help them find us, and we appreciate your support.
As always.
Yes, sir.
Brian, so I don't think it's going to be as doom and gloom of what you've been up to since last week. So, well, actually, first, what are you drinking? Looks tasty. What do you got there?
I'm starting with the same thing I started with last week. I still have some of this left in the fridge here. This is a Deck the Hills. It's a English. I misspoke last week. Listen to the episode. I said Irish because you were talking about Irish New Year.
Yes.
I said this was an Irish Christmas ale, which is incorrect. It's an English
Okay.
holiday ale from Jackie O's, a brewery in Columbus, Ohio. So it's a quite tasty. So yeah, if you see that out in your local, if you're in the Northeast Ohio area, pick up a 6 of that and enjoy. What are you having, sir?
I'm drinking Cleveland Fan Zone IPA. It is from Ellicottville Brewery. It's got
I have never heard of that.
Bunch of cartoon Browns fans at the stadium, all over the can, all very Cleveland Browns centric.
How about that?
Yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it.
Is the big dog on there on the can?
I believe he's there somewhere. I mean, it's almost like a Where's Waldo?
I see.
Like there's pumpkin heads on here, a guy with the bag over his head, that Browns van that drives around. Yeah, just it's a lot of stuff like that.
Very good.
I bet you'd pick out a whole bunch if you kind of sat here and studied it real quick.
Yeah, that guy was certainly an icon in the 80s in the stands here. That big dog guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, yeah. So what is new with you, sir? Has it been a better week than the last week? What's up?
It has. Well, what do we do? We all got together for the Summit County Brew Path Bash.
Yes, that's right. Last Saturday.
So it's a organization, Summit County Brew Path, where they have at least 17 to 20 different bars and or not bars, breweries on the list, and you go and get a stamp for each one, and then you fill the stamp booklet up, and then you turn it in, and then at the beginning of the next year, you go to a big giant party with a bunch of beer and food, and yeah. It was a lot of fun. We all got together. We all got we had our fair share of said beer, and we'll leave it at that. It was a good time had by all.
Yes. At the establishment after that, people may or may not have fallen down on the floor. People may or may not have been cut off, and
there's rumors.
There was some very high emotions.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
That's right. Yes, but it was definitely a nice time, and we'll definitely do it again for sure. I think we're learning we probably have to have more food prior, and definitely more water during the event. You don't really realize with small samples when you're mixing a lot how quickly it could sneak up on you when you're mixing craft beer like that.
It could slowly get away from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, yesterday I went to. I was up in Cleveland, and I went to the Cleveland's oldest bar called the Harbor Inn, established in 1865.
Never been.
It is down there in the flats. It is. It's the equivalent of like a little dive bar. Very cool. You'd enjoy the hell out of it. It's when we go down and do the flats maybe this summer. We'll stop in there and take a look. I got Miller High Life on draft.
Wow.
Right?
Boy, you don't see that very often.
No, you don't. So I had to go there, and then I had a little Coors banquet to follow it up. It was a good time. Very tasty. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had Miller High Life on draft.
Maybe, gosh, the 90s maybe somewhere had that. Yeah, that's good though. Great.
No, it's a very cool little place they got there.
All right, very good.
Yeah. If you're in the flats in Cleveland, check out Harbor Inn. Very cool.
Awesome.
So what about you, Brian? What have you been up to?
Yeah, really this week. Just first full week back to work since the holidays. Very busy time. we have new leadership in place and just a lot happening there. So it was definitely a full first week back to work, but it's good though too. I mean, when you're busy like that, it's it definitely makes the days go by quickly and everything else. And
Sure.
Allie and I went out last evening to a local On Tap in Stowe, Ohio, and watched the Cleveland Cavaliers defeat the Oklahoma City Thunder, the top two records in all of basketball.
Yeah, they pulled it
Cleveland
off.
they look really good. It was a great game. Great game. So great job, Cavaliers. As we were definitely excited in the area. Best record in basketball still, and just have to see how they fare later against the Celtics, probably in the playoffs sometime down the line. But right now we're enjoying it. Great season.
Right.
One of the best ever, literally, in Cavaliers history. Maybe the best start ever, honestly, even when we had
I would
LeBron
think.
James. So, yep, good stuff. And that's it. Then going out tomorrow, Dean, to go check out the, by the time this drops, it would have already been played, of course, but the Ohio State Buckeyes versus Texas Longhorns in the college football bowl. So the winner of this game will play the winner of tonight's game, Notre Dame and Penn State. So, yeah, good playoff games going
Very
on.
good.
That's it, man. That's all that's going on over here, really.
Well, then I think we've covered our life's decisions. So
yes, indeed. Anything you want to talk about, recommend over the last week, or?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to technically recommend it, but I do want to touch on that I did finish What If. I don't know if you've.
I haven't yet. Nope, not yet. Did it get any better?
This season. Nope,
Yeah.
did not. Didn't end well. It seemed like there was a lot that was. Maybe there were some episodes that didn't get aired because there's some characters I didn't know who they were or where they came from. It got kind of convoluted. It kind of went. Got above itself a little bit. I didn't particularly care for it, but it's one of those things. The shows that you start and you're like, all right, I've kind of waned interest.
Yeah,
but I did start it. I've been watching it for this long. Might as well finish it. So the series is over. It almost seems like this whole show was just to get everybody or some people understood who Captain Carter is the Captain America in that universe and in that cartoon universe. It almost seemed like that the whole idea of those 3 seasons was so when you see Haley Atwell in Doomsday next year, that you'll be like, oh, that's not weird at all. We've seen her, in different various pictures. I mean, yeah, she was in Multiverse of Madness briefly, but again, it was after the first season. Because if you remember, that's how the whole series started, was with her.
Yep.
Replacing Steve Rogers. So, again, not my favorite, but I did finish it. We just actually watched today. We got into like 3 episodes of it. It's a show called Bad Monkey. It is on Apple TV, produced and written by, partly written by and produced by Bill Lawrence, the same guy who does, creator of Scrubs, creator of Shrinking and Ted Lasso. It is Vince Vaughn plays a defunct detective type deal. He's trying to solve a case, and it's set in like the Florida Keys / Miami area. It's good. They listed it as a comedy. I mean, there's some humorous parts. Don't get me wrong. It's Vince Vaughn, but it's more of a, I don't know, whodunit suspense with some humor, mixed in with it. But on Apple TV, Bad Monkey. I recommend that.
Okay, very good. Yeah, what they categorize as comedy these days is just pretty broad. Seems like, yeah.
Right. Oh, and what I did, last thing, I'll just mention it briefly. Last week, one of my shows that I was looking forward to was the premiere of Raw on Netflix.
How was it?
To me, it did not disappoint. They used some cool new camera angles. They switched the color of the ring. The set was different. They almost treated it match wise and everything like it looked like a pay per view.
Okay.
And it was fun. It was good showing. It's number one on Netflix now.
Okay.
So numbers had to be good. So yeah, I quite it lived up to my expectations. I was last week I said that I was looking forward to it, and it didn't disappoint in my eyes.
Any buffering or any problems with the stream?
Nope, not at all. It
Okay,
looked
good
great.
for
There
them.
was no glitching, no nothing. Great thing is they don't have a time limit. It could go 3 hours. It could go 3:30. It could go 2:45. They said they don't have a time. It's whatever the stories will, needs. And
I
I think
like that.
I think it went over like 3 hours and 3 minutes.
Wow.
The Rock was there. John Cena was there. Undertaker showed up. Yeah, it was a whole big thing to do. So it
I
looked
heard
good.
Hulk Hogan got booed a lot.
Oh my God! All right, let's touch that. So the Hulk Hogan's beer, the Great American Beer, whatever he calls it. It's got him on a cartoon thing of him on the can tearing his shirt off. It is now a signed a year sponsor for Raw. So and they now have on the mat sponsors like UFC has on their mat,
Okay.
and that is one of them. And he came out to promote it, and it was so much fun to watch because how cringe-worthy it was. He was uncomfortable. Jimmy Hart, who was out there waving the American flag behind him, looked visibly uncomfortable. But the crowd just booed the shit out of him.
Is that because of his political stuff he's been doing, or who knows?
See, okay, so there was the argument is because he said in an interview briefly after it that he thinks that is because what he did at the RNC, and then being California, which probably didn't help, right? California being a blue state. Now, The Undertaker has publicly come out, had Donald Trump on his show, on his podcast. He has spoken publicly about him being a right-wing Republican, and he got cheered.
Okay.
So I honestly don't think it's that. I think that the tapes with him saying the N-word, Hulk Hogan that being, I think that had a lot to do with it. I think there was no sincere apology. I mean, he's made, oh, I'm sorry, I did that type deal, but it didn't really seem that sincere. So I think that, along with it being in a blue state, along with it just came out as the old shtick. He just came out and was rambling about how he had partnered with Hulk, Andre the Giant, and Macho Man. It just seemed old and just the same old shtick. So I think it was a combination of a lot of things. But boy, did that crowd not want to hear a thing he said.
Man,
it was wild. Like he was in the old red and yellow Hulk looking. I mean, but nope. They if I was him, I would have just turned heel right there and just shit on the crowd. I mean, lean into it, I mean, but he was only out there promoting his beer, which I think also probably hurt too. Like knowing that he's just coming out to shill that beer. Undertaker at least came out on a motorcycle and raised the hand of the Rhea Ripley, who won. At least he did like a wrestling thing. And Hogan just came out and shilled his beer and got booed incessantly. So,
yeah, okay.
But it was a fun show. Looking forward to next week, as always.
Very good. I saw that they're going to. I think it'll broadcast out of Cleveland coming up here too. If I'm not, is that right?
Yeah. I think they go live
February.
Monday. Yeah, in February at the
Rocket Mortgage, the
Rocket Mortgage Field, however many words that is.
House. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been to many. Actually, before that, because they have some older shows on Netflix now that you can go back and look at different Monday Night Raws. And I found the Monday Night Raw I went to as a kid, where not kid, but we were teenagers in high school, and there's a bunch of us that were shirtless and had an Austin. Each guy had a letter written on his chest, and and it said Austin 316 across the crowd. And I kept looking for it. So I know it is some point it shows us because I remember I have it on tape, but I didn't see it there. But I got to watch that Monday Night Raw where I was shirtless in the crowd.
Very good. So go find it, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Frame by frame.
That's right.
Frame by frame. I've
What
been
about
watching.
you? What did you see?
I just been working through a couple series primarily, so haven't finished them just yet. I'll talk more about them when I'm done. But lately, I've been working through Hysteria. Now, this is a on Peacock original. Bruce Campbell, and I can't think of her name right now. She was the mom in Modern Family.
Julie Bowden.
Yes. So it takes place in the 80s, and the premises there's kids in high school that have like a heavy metal band, and they
I've seen previews for that.
they decide they want to hype up their band and create like a fake satanic cult as a gimmick, and they wind up actually helping, well, maybe releasing the actual devil on earth. It's a whole thing. So it's kind of a dark comedy is what it is, sort of, but there's definitely some serious things in it. But if you like horror comedy / heavy metal stuff, you'll enjoy this here, I think. So I'm working through the last couple episodes of that, and I've been working through more of Landman. This is on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
So this is the new Billy Bob Thornton original series there. So it's Billy Bob Thornton, John Hamm is in this, Demi Moore as a cameo in there, or a smaller role, as John Hamm's wife. But Billy Bob Thornton works for John Hamm, who's a big oil tycoon, and it kind of gives you what feels like a fairly realistic glimpse of people that work in that industry. So it's trying to keep the wells maintaining. You got workers drama, family drama, drug cartel drama. There's a lot going on there. So again, kind of a drama with some funny-ish, moments and things like that with Billy Bob and his family and everything. So, if you like that sort of thing, storyline, if you like family drama, you like Billy Bob Thornton in general, as always, he just acts his ass off, so it's just watching him is entertaining enough for me personally. Plus, he does give you a little homage of one of his lines in Bad Santa he used in one of the first episodes, where he told somebody to shit in one hand and wish in the other and see which one fills up first. I'm like, yep.
There it is.
Yep, very good. So that's about it, man. Other than some sports and stuff like that, it's really about it.
Nice.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll take a break then, take a drink, and we're going to come back with a couple of pop culture headlines in our Ask an Idiot segment before we get into our main topic this evening, character conversation tonight. So we'll talk more about that after the break. Gen X Brian here from the Convincing Idiots podcast. If you're enjoying our show, tell a friend. And if you're not, well, tell two enemies.
Three.
All right, welcome back to Convincing Idiots.
Yo.
Segment 2, episode 223. Meta is making some news here, Dean. So Meta is the company that Mark Zuckerberg owns that has Facebook and other, applications or whatever the hell he's got within the Meta family. Something making the news this week here is that he has announced that Mark Zuckerberg has announced that they're going to be removing their fact-checking on Meta, right? So they're going to adopt more of an approach that X is taking.
Let everybody say whatever the hell they want, and consequences be damned.
That's really kind of it. And they're going to use a community notes like they do for X as well. So it's basically, as you probably already know, but It's a means for users to comment on a post and give you, it kind of gives you a summary of what people are commenting on using AI. But users are saying that this or that or the other, and you're really kind of relying on people to do sort of their own self-policing, if you will. And
Yeah, because that worked out so well in other places.
yeah, right, exactly. So I guess I understand both sides of it, but what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts of having a big social? Now, of course, it's Facebook too, so I don't know how I use it, but I don't know how popular it is with people who are using Facebook for posts like they are. But yeah, go ahead. What do you think about all
But
this?
here's the thing. Older people are using Facebook, and that is the scary part about this. At least the younger people that are using X, they're at least savvy enough to hopefully savvy enough to not believe everything you read and do a little more research, where your 60-year-old aunt is reading this going, that's gospel. I read it here, so that's, you know what I mean? So that's the more dangerous part is who is not going to get fact checked, and where they're not going to fact check. Your aunt's not going to do the research unless it says, unless it's done for her, unfortunately. So that's who it hurts. It hurts the truth. So you can write any fucking thing you want on there, and now people are going to believe it. The crowd that is on Facebook is going to believe it, and that sucks. That's going to hurt. At least you had a buffer for stupidity. Now the buffer's gone, and it's Wild West again.
Yeah, we've been trying to tell people for years that we're a very entertaining podcast, that we keep being taken down, those posts on Meta. So
now we can put up and say, the sexiest men alive are doing this global life-changing podcast, and everybody's going to believe us now.
Yeah.
You can't fact check that shit.
Yeah, if you don't, put it in the fucking community notes, okay? Or shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying?
So listen here. This really is for you, Facebook viewers and listeners. Right here is the sexiest men alive. Voted by most publications in this country. Your local newspaper. It's on the back page. You didn't see it, but trust me, it's there. Barbara Herald. Sexiest defunct paper. Sexiest men alive. And this you need to follow and subscribe to this podcast, because we are a global, world-renowned podcast that all your friends are listening to except you. So you see that little the line there? Hit it. Subscribe. Get on that link. Subscribe. Listen to us every week, because if you don't, there's a good chance the ghost of Albert Einstein comes in and kicks your dog. You can't fact check. That's the truth.
That's right. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I mean,
that's not our the spot you put on Facebook this week for this.
Sure. That's it. That's quite the promo. Yeah.
Thank you. Felt like Hulk Hogan getting booed also.
Boo. Yeah. I don't know, man. I say I have mixed feelings with that. I mean, if you're I hate that people. It's like you have to be protected against your own stupidity. That's how I feel about some of that stuff there. If you're gullible enough to read anything online, wherever it is, and just believe it automatically, if it's not from a reputable news source, especially, then I don't know. But you're right. The unfortunate part is it can cause some harm where you can rile up. I said before, it's easy to rile up dumb people. It really is. Sorry, it just is.
He's caving to the new administration coming in. That's all it is.
Sure.
All the media companies, because they're afraid of what he could do to them, what he could. I don't know what he's threatening, but
Mhm.
you know that's what they're afraid of. And they're all rich. They're gonna get the fucking tax breaks that he's promised them. So why
Mhm.
wouldn't they do what he says, right?
That's right. That's right. So I don't know. Yeah, it's just probably no going back, man. It's
No.
just probably not. I don't see the incentive for these companies to really invest in the staff or whatever it is to try to
You,
keep things at bay. So they just have to rely on the. Now, I do believe that the average person is intelligent enough to read something and be like, okay, I
yeah.
know that's.
I think
I think so.
you're slightly misjudging how many stupid people there are in
Yeah,
this world.
maybe, or you're so far into your own political beliefs that you're really
Uh-huh.
going to listen to some of these talking heads out there and take too much at face value. I don't
Listen,
know, but
there are, like the old adage says, there are only three things for sure in this life, Brian:
mm,
death, taxes, and saving money with Aaron Blake.
that's it.
Because Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. I'll repeat that again because maybe the person in the back didn't hear it. BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. And when you do, tell them that the idiot sent you.
That's right. Aaron's not going to be censored.
He's not.
No.
It's because he actually tells the truth 100% of the time. So
That's right. That's right. Did you see any of the Golden Globes over the weekend, Dean? Is that a show that you watched at all? Did you watch any highlights? Anything at all about the Golden Globes
some highlights here
on
and there.
Sunday?
I watched some highlights here and there, but I didn't catch the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah. So making some positive news. Comedian Nikki Glazer
I heard
hosted.
you did great.
She did do great. I mean, I didn't watch the show, but I did watch her monologue, which of course you can find out everywhere out there online, YouTube, etc. And I enjoyed her performance on the Tom Brady roast, and I'm sure that she was definitely one of the best things about that entire roast.
Go back and watch all those roasts from Comedy Central from the past 5-6 years. She's been great on all of them. She's been funny for her whole fucking career. She's fantastic.
Yeah, and she's so good for her. She's definitely getting more notice, and her jokes were roast-ish. She knew where to kind of draw the line.
Yep.
Like she wasn't really hitting people too hard, but she was definitely having fun with the the audience and picking on a couple of people, but not too hard, right? So, but she did a great job. I mean, every clip I saw with her was good. I'd be surprised if they did not invite her back just from the entertainment value. I have no idea what the ratings were, but it is an interesting prelude into the Oscars, which I still can't help, but I do enjoy watching the Oscars. I can't help it. Is he? That's gonna be good.
If I remember seeing that correctly.
Okay. Yeah, he'll do great if that's what he's doing. So I'm interested in that.
I'll watch the whole thing from start to finish for Conan O'Brien.
Sure. Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm just looking through the winners here. I don't think there was anything too surprising. So some of the shows out there that we've talked about a few times that you haven't watched Shogun. So Shogun again won a bunch of Golden Globes. It won Emmys as well.
I watched the first episode, and I mean, if anything, visually, it's stunning.
Yeah, definitely is. Hacks wins more awards. Jean Smart for Best Actress in a music. Actually, you know what? Allie and I we sat down this week and watched the first couple episodes of Hacks on Max. because it keeps winning all these awards.
Okay.
And the first couple episodes were good. I could see where, so we're definitely getting hooked a little bit. So we'll continue to watch through that. And but yeah, Shogun was a big winner. The Bear, the Penguin, Colin Farrell won
I
Best
can talk
Actor
about
for
that for a second.
Penguin. Go
The
ahead,
Bear.
please.
The
Mhm.
Bear. We just finished the third season. I mean, it'll come back in June, but we just finished all of it, and again, fantastic. It's very compelling. Don't get it as being called a comedy, like we said before. Some of these shows being called comedies that aren't. It's not a comedy to me. Fuck to anybody, it's not a comedy, but it is a compelling, good, well-acted show, and it was fun in the third season to see John Cena come in. I didn't know that was going to be a thing. It was very fun. He's always funny, and so yeah, it was cool.
Very good. Axe won Best Comedy, Best Series Musical, Comedy or Musical. This Baby Reindeer series, it's a limited series, keeps making winning a lot of awards as well. I think it's the one where the lady's like a super fan, like a stalker type person, right? Isn't that what that is? I think. Am I
I've never
wrong?
heard of it.
Okay, I gotta check that out as well. And The Brutalist has won a lot of awards. Best
Never heard of
Motion
it.
Picture, The Brutalist. I don't know what that is either. I need to look more into that as well and check that out. So
I did
don't know.
see it was very cool that they have a new category for the best blockbuster. And the goddamn Wicked won.
Yes.
But,
Cinematic and box office achievement won. So
yeah, so it's pretty much for it the award for the what actually everybody that went to the movies thought was the best movie of the fucking year.
Yeah, the
and
nominees were
that award.
Wicked.
I hope they do
Alien.
it for Oscars also.
I liked it a lot. It was Wicked was a nominee, Alien, Romulus, Beetlejuice, Deadpool, Wolverine, Gladiator 2, Inside Out 2, Twisters, and The Wild Robot. So you're right.
I did actually. I watched that one live when I flipped to it. That was the one that was coming up, and when they said, I'm like, well, goddamn, it's about time they recognize that actually the people that are going to see the theaters. Yeah. So yeah, you said that in the lineup there, and I'm like, I don't care who wins. I'm just glad that one of these movies, or hell, all of them being recognized for at least the nomination. Yeah. I love that. I hope the Oscars do it. Yeah,
good for them. And so does too, Dean. So best original score for the movie Challengers, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross. Trent Reznor from Cleveland, Ohio. Yep, and known for the band 9 Inch Nails. If you're a hard music fan, like a new age hard music fan in the 90s, 9 Inch Nails is certainly huge. Love them, very cool. But yeah, good for him. He's won a couple of awards now.
And if you're not familiar with that band, you're not a metal guy or a rock guy or gal. If you go to like a where they have the bigger heaters, Reznor heaters, that's actually his family started those. His dad is the creator of the Reznor heaters. Like you'll see in like warehouses and stuff.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Reznor heaters. His dad started it, or his grandfather, one of them. But yeah, it's his family is the name Reznor for Reznor heaters.
There you go. Good for them.
Dean fact of the day.
There you have it. That's about all I have, man. As far as headlines this week, that sort of caught my eye. Than these just normal, dumb shit in pop culture or whatever. So,
well, let's real quick. If that's all you got on the headlines,
you got something?
How are you liking this 12-man playoff for the college football?
I like it. I was all for it. I mean, there's certainly a dynamic where, you're arguing the top 4 teams, and it's quote unquote interesting and fun to argue the top 4 teams, whatever. But inevitably, there's 1 or 2 decent teams that just never get a chance.
Yep.
With this here, I mean, it's really hard. If you can't make the top 12 ranking, you don't belong to be there. Sorry,
Correct.
Or you're not a big enough program, or you had a down year.
Are kind of bullshit biased, anyways.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of factors into it. So I like that these 12 teams are, like you said, if you're in the top 12, you deserve to be there. And hell, look at the Final Four now.
Top four's
what,
out.
5, 6, 7, and 8 seeds.
Yep.
So
Top
yeah,
four all got beat.
I like
All
it.
got beat. Yeah.
It's been fun to watch. Great games so far.
Mhm.
That's one I'm watching right now. Notre Dame, Penn State. It's a good game. All of them's been great.
There's been a couple blowouts, but for the most part, there's been a lot of close games.
Yep.
So I think that they could probably pat themselves on the back and that it was a good decision. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. So, yeah. So good for them.
Last one I'm going to mention.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I think we would be remiss if we did not mention the passing of Jimmy Carter.
Yes. Yes.
He passed the other day. Actually, as of our recording tonight, this is the National Day of Mourning for Jimmy Carter. Made 100 years old.
Yep.
Probably. Well, you know what? I'm going to take away that word probably. In my opinion, he was the greatest human to be president. And I say that has nothing to do with his 4 years as president. It has nothing to do with his political views. I'm talking about the humanitarian and just human being.
Yeah.
He just happened to be president for 4 years. What he did, he won the Nobel Peace Prize, and all of that. Nobel Peace Prize winner, all the different awards. Being president, I think if you asked him at the end of his life what he was most proud of, it was probably like the Habitat for Humanity type stuff, where like he helped lesser, poorer people, and he helped just humanity out there in general. Anything, I don't give a shit what your politics are, which way you lean, yada yada. As a human being, he was one of the best. And to be 100 years old, he was the oldest living former president ever. God bless him and Godspeed. Jimmy Carter, 100 years old.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Well said. It's of all of the former presidents in our lifetime, you're right. As far as I just don't know if anybody has gotten involved in charitable work at the level as he did there. So it's more of like books and speeches and not saying that they've led poor lives outside the presidency. That's not what we're saying. It's
people that do great things.
Sure. But yeah, he took it to a whole other level, and married to Rosalind, 77 years of marriage.
Right.
It seemed like he had a very good family. It's one of the least popular presidents and one of the more popular former presidents,
100%.
Several bestseller books, right? He had several books and everything too, as well. So definitely well said, and and rest in peace for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I got.
Very good. Well, Dean was certainly in the month of January. And just a very simple ask an idiot question this week. Now your birthday is in January, so certainly there's some reason for you to celebrate January, of course. But I just get these blahs of January. So just very simple question: is January your least favorite month, or is there another month of the year that's more of your lesser favorite? Typically, we always have ups and downs throughout any year, but
last year it was December
January?
for me.
Yes, December was a tough month for you for sure. But what are your thoughts on January? Go ahead.
Okay. When you text me this today for the question, I was looking outside, just melancholy. It was cold.
Yeah.
I wanted to go outside, but it was too goddamn cold to go outside. Right now my full-time job is looking for a job, so I'm on the phone, putting resumes out there and such. And you feel like a fucking prisoner. You feel
Yeah.
just stuck inside. And at that moment, I would have definitely agreed with you that January was the worst month. But then I started thinking about it. January, you come off the high of the new year, and you get the. If I was working, I would be out and about. The cold really doesn't bother me when I have to be in it. Okay, you know what?
Yep.
I'm out in it. You're just dealing with it. That's one thing. And then February. February sucks, but it's short. So you have a few days less. To me, the worst month is March. The worst month is March because you've already done winter. And when you in anybody's ears, they hear the word, oh, March, they think like spring, St. Patrick's Day. But no, it's that shit month that where you could have a snowstorm.
Yeah.
You could it's still unreasonably cold, but you're so done with winter. You've had 3 or 4 months of it already. You are just beaten into submission mentally. And anybody with seasonal depression is at their last fucking wit's end. And you are you will wear shorts outside just to think spring, even though you're gonna freeze your ass off. To me, March is gross and mean, and it's the worst month.
Yeah, the more I thought about it as well, I mean, I definitely don't like it's a necessary transition, I guess, from the holidays into, more normal life, I guess. You take the decoration, that's always a bummer. Yeah, you take the decorations down, it's a little bit less bright and colorful in the house, around the neighborhood, but yeah, for me, I think February overall, I mean, I know it's a shorter month, but you're into that. There's just nothing much to look forward to. Not a whole lot in February. There are some family birthdays and different things like that, but it's
so cold. It seems like a lot longer than the short month that it is.
Yeah, you get the Super Bowl, and that's nice. It's always it's opportunity to get together with friends every year, and there's always a few of us to get together for the Super Bowl, which is nice. That's something to look forward to.
For those of you out there that don't have a significant other, St. Valentine's Day comes around, so that's another thing to be happy about. You fucking losers. I'm joking. They already know.
But that's it. It's now the second cold month, and looking forward to spring and all that type of stuff.
Second.
Yeah.
You've already got November, December, especially this year.
You're right. Yeah, it's been definitely a colder winter for sure, and for many of us. But all right, well, what is your least favorite month out there? We want to hear from you. So let us know. Email us, post, whatever.
Stop us on the street.
Absolutely. That's right.
But not during February. It's too fucking cold. Let's get inside and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's right. We'll do a whole marathon of Convincing Idiots episodes or something.
That's right. Like that. Live in front of you.
Sure. All right, we're going to take a break here, Dino. We'll come back and talk about, again, character topic this week that you came up with. So we'll tell you all about that after the break.
Mm-hmm.
3, 2.
And here we go. Section 3. Two balloons. We are ready and excited about doing this main topic. Brian, yes. We had it on the board for a while, but a little bit of different way it was said.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea of what were some of the characters. And I expanded a little bit, but what are some of the characters or TV shows, movies that you didn't quite like or understand or just you're blah, whatever about it when you were younger, but then as you got older, you learned to respect or even like.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I expanded. I think we we weren't exactly on the same page in this, but I think it's still going to work.
Yeah.
I have a couple shows and movies also listed for me.
Sure.
And I'm sure once we go along this, I think you'll probably have some that pop into your head, because there's a couple. Well, there's two here that I think are going to jog your memory for some other things. Let's just say
Sure.
that. Towards
Why don't you start then, sir? Why don't you kick it off?
I'm going to start with characters.
Okay.
To me, this was a character. I love the show. It was one of my favorite shows in the world. And get ready to drink because the show is going to be mentioned. Dan Fielding from Night Court.
Mm-hmm.
He was the sleazy prosecutor, womanizer. As a kid, he playing the role of the bad guy. He's the heel, and so as a kid, I saw him as that. I just saw him as this. I'm like, oh, I just don't like him. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't like the actor. And as you get older, you realize, and you go back and rewatch, or even watch the reboot of it, that not only is he a great character, but he's the funniest fucking person on the show. Mm-hmm. He's the best actor on the show, hands down.
Sure. Yes.
Because all of them were, I mean, I'm sure the whole cast of Night Court was fantastic, but John Larroquette deserved every fucking Emmy he got for that show. And as an adult, you watch that and go, no, I completely get it. It's kind of like wrestling. When you watch the heels when you're little and go, boo, then you go back and watch and go, oh no, they're really good at their job.
Mm-hmm.
And John Larroquette, Dan Fielding, on Night Court is my first on my list.
That's a good one. Yeah. One character as a kid, no surprise, I got a couple Star Wars related characters in here, but one character as a kid in the original Star Wars movie, I just didn't get it.
I know who you're going to say.
Like who is this guy? What's the purpose? He's getting in the way of Darth Vader. I don't get it. Grand Moff Tarkin as a kid, I'm like,
good
like
one.
It was just kind of a strange
who I was thinking of
character, and you go back and as you watch Star Wars, how many times since then you grow up, it's like, and I've watched other movies with the great Peter Cushing, the actor who played that role in his later years, but when you really appreciate the fact, like I went through a stint last year, Dean, where I watched all the Christopher Lee vampire Dracula movies. I've never seen them ever, and I'm just like, last Halloween season, I'm like, I'm going to work through these, and of course, more than one. Peter Cushing is in there as Van Helsing and everything, which is just so good.
Sure,
and it just, you appreciate the fact that it was just a highly established actor playing a small role in that movie, and you just watch him act in that role, and he's got the whole swift stroke and all this stuff. He's just like, every line is just like so precise,
like, because the Empire was kind of based off Nazis, right? I mean, that
sure.
He played that European, because they weren't Nazis, they were the Imperial force, but he had that gravitas.
Yes.
To play that European evil general, we'll say.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and
that's
just
right.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
What's the dude's name? The German dude. He's in Inglourious Basterds. Yes, he's like, if you did he's that like level, right?
Yeah.
Like you haven't seen an actor with that level.
Sure.
And like he's that like reincarnation of Peter Cushing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yep. So as a kid, didn't get it, but as I grew up and watched the movie several times, again, it's a character that I appreciate and now like.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Who else you got?
All right. So mine's gonna pale in comparison with that one, man. I went simple, man. As a little kid, you see Big Bird, you see Cookie Monster eating cookies.
Mm-hmm.
You see the lovable, the Snuffleupagus even.
That's right.
When Oscar the Grouch came out of that trash can, I did not like him. I didn't get it. He was mean to people, and as a little kid, you're taught not to be mean to people, and he was mean to people, and he looked like he smelled, and he sat in a trash can. As an adult, I watch it and go, "Oh shit, he was the only correct one on that show." He didn't want anything to do with anybody. He just wanted to sit there in his own shit and deal with his life on his own. And as an adult, you go, fuck, I get it. He's playing the role of the adult. I now understand. He's grumpy. Nobody knows why he's grumpy. Nobody knows why mom and dad's grumpy. He was playing the adult perfectly. So, Oscar the Grouch.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'll give you my other Star Wars one. It's this is from the sequel, Empire Strikes Back. As a kid, thinking, man, this guy is such a weasel. What a traitor! How can you possibly let Han Solo get turned over to the Empire? I don't get it. Lando Calrissian,
right?
Played by the great Billy D. Williams. Now, certainly the character has a good arc, and he does redeem himself
the
in
redemption
that movie.
Story.
And then, certainly,
he had really no choice. I mean, he was correct the whole time.
And that's what
let all his other people get killed for this one guy.
That's right. And that's what I had to learn to appreciate as I watched the movie and grew up a little bit there. Where, I mean, even though I understood certainly in the movie he does turn and he does try to help save them and everything like that. If he didn't turn, they all would have been captured by the Empire and everything else. I mean, I get it, right? So you even understood that as a kid, but man, it was such an anger there originally toward him. I mean, that was part of the story on purpose.
Yep.
But I just didn't get. But again, like you're right. Now, as you go back and look at it, he really was trying to be a good leader of his people and try to, sacrifice one or two to save many, right? So then once, of course, he learned that they were going to take over anyway.
Let's face it, wasn't the Pope. I mean,
that's right.
He done some shit.
Yeah, he was sitting on Leia and stuff. It's just like,
I'm talking about Han Solo. Let's face it, Han Solo wasn't a saint. I mean, he was a smuggler. He was doing illegal shit until you met him. In New Hope. So
that's right. All right. So Lando
Calrissian. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go TV show. Right.
Sure.
And this show was, I'd seen reruns. I think it was off the air by the time I was born, but I saw reruns when I was younger, and all the clips I showed when I was younger. I didn't quite get it. It was from the 70s, and people looked 70s looking, and I just didn't get it, no matter what they were trying to do. But I was in Boston 2 years ago, and there was no cable. They just had this weird whatever brand TV, their network, and you could find and I just flipped on the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And I start watching it, laughing my ass off. Megan's asleep, and I'm trying not to wake her up. And I'm like, how did I not get this as a kid? Like, all of them were just comedic geniuses. The timing of them, the skits still work today. And as of now, there's nothing I enjoy more now than going down a YouTube or Instagram rabbit hole, watching the bloopers of Harvey Korman, Tim Conway, just breaking each other up. And like, if you look up bloopers of the Carol Burnett show, you will go on, because there's so many of them. It's just a delight. Like, there's nothing that makes me smile more than watching those two work with each other. So the Carol Burnett show, I was wrong. I say I'm wrong. It is fantastic.
Very good. Excellent. Never really watched it. I know of it, certainly. I like the actors and everything on the show, the performers, but I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah.
You will dig it. You should. Yeah. You can. Hell, there's YouTube channels devoted to all that stuff, like the old 70 shows. You, Brian, you of all people really should do some research into Carol Burnett.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely will. Well, another show. I know we both enjoyed it, and it was definitely part of our households growing up here. MASH, and a character on that show. I just as a kid, just despised Frank Burns, played by the great Larry Linville. And
Absolutely.
And as a kid, he's just, man, this guy's such a weasel, and he is a crybaby and a whiner. Yeah, Frank Burns eats worms. Frank Burns eats. I love that scene. Hawkeye teaching the Koreans how to speak English. But as you grow up and you think back and reflect on that character, it's like that's another one. That was the point. The point was
you were supposed to hate him.
You were supposed to hate him, and he was such a good foil for Hawkeye and I guess it was Pierce back then.
Trapper John.
Yeah, Trapper. That's right.
Yep.
But just so good, man. Larry Linville, it's one of the best acted characters on any sitcom, of probably of all time. Yeah, I can't recall how many seasons he lasted. Now, certainly he wound up leaving the show, and they brought the Charles character on, which was also very good.
Great actor.
Very good.
Yeah, fantastic.
Not at the same level as Frank Burns, but Frank Burns. Go ahead. What are your thoughts on Frank Burns?
Let me explain to you why Frank Burns, I'll be quick, but why Frank Burns might be one of the greatest characters in television history.
Mm-hmm.
It is simply this. He did not change.
No.
Look at all of these quote unquote bad guys in shows at least have an arc to where you have to feel sympathy for them, so where you understand where they're coming from. Charles ultimately ended up having those episodes. Winchester had those episodes where you understood where he's coming from. Yep. He had those heart touching. You didn't. Not only did Frank Burns go through his entire stint and match and not get redeemed, but his reason for leaving, he actually ended up getting promoted to where he shouldn't have. You know what I mean? He ended up being the bad guy, just better, off screen. So to me, didn't get a sympathy arc, and I love it. That's the way the bad guy should be written.
It's great.
Great pick. I love it, because I also, as a kid, like everybody, did not like Frank Burns, but now he's amazing.
Yep. Very good. Who else you got, sir? What's next on you? Who's next on your list?
Actually, I'm going to go. I got a character involved in this too, because he was kind of the cause. But I want another TV show, and this one, I have I remember the visceral feeling that I had when I would hear that stupid intro to this show. It was weird, and it was too 70s-ish. It was a weird piano or synthesizer, what the fuck that was. But then you see Danny DeVito come around the thing. Taxi.
Oh yeah, yes.
I didn't get Taxi. Judge Hurst is a fantastic. Well, I mean, it's filled with fantastic actors. But Danny DeVito was just. He was the main reason why I didn't like the show. Louis was just. Again, as a kid, you're taught to be nice and respectful, and he was just mean and gross, and he looked weird. He was he was the size of a child, but he was a man, and you didn't get it as a kid. Again, now Danny DeVito is if we're doing a top 10, he might be in my top 10 favorite actors. He is a national treasure. The whole cast. Andy Kaufman, one of my heroes. Playing Laka. Laka was I didn't get that character when I was little. I was like, well, I know that I can tell that this is a made up. He's doing a thing, a bit, but I didn't understand it. And now looking back, watching it, still the song still sucks when in the beginning of the show. That wah, 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 it's awful. I have that reaction still, but when it starts the whole show, top to bottom. All the actors are superb, and Danny DeVito is a national treasure, even on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Taxi and Danny DeVito is next on my list.
No, that's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, you're right. As a kid, it was like a little above our head, humor wise. Just there were some funny physical bits and different things, but you're right. You have to be a little bit older. It's definitely an adult show. It's an adult comedy show for sure.
It sure is.
Man, I haven't watched that in a long time, but I
watched it the other day. I flipped it on.
Yeah. Christopher Lloyd as Reverend Jim, and Mary Lou Henner, and Judd Hirsch. God, just so a lot of Tony Danza. Man.
You could sit there and watch it just for Christopher Lloyd in that show.
Yeah,
like the performance that he does, knowing like the actor that he is, that like knowing that like he was probably Broadway fucking trained, and like he's doing this weird Nixon hippie thing. Dude, it's brilliant. I'm telling you, pull that one up too. After you're done with Carol Burnett, go watch a little bit of Taxi. You'll enjoy that.
I will do that. Very good. I got a couple from movies here. So these were I guess more semi-adult type movies, but I was younger watching them for the first time. But one movie I've talked about several times with this podcast. It was on cable back in the early 80s. Watched it a ton myself with astrophysicist Tim when he lived across the street from me. We watched it every chance we had on cable. It came on, we watched it. Didn't matter where it picked up here. But from the movie Caddyshack, Judge Smales. So as a kid, Judge Smales was like, again, another one. Man, the guy's such a snob and despicable and mean and everything else here. But as you grow up and you watch the movie, again, not unlike a Frank Burns type character, Ted Knight just that's the point. The point it was that it depicted perfectly that snob and snootiness that they wanted him to represent in that movies. And Ted Knight just so goddamn good in that anyways in anything he did, but in that movie just so good, so straight, played it so straight and angry it was funny, and it just a great counterpart to all the characters. It's so
fun to go back and watch like Frank Burns or Judge Smales and watch those actors act fucking circles around this cast. Like as a kid, you don't really grasp and get that concept. As an adult, you watch it and go, "Fuck, he's blowing them off the page. How are they even keeping up?" Like they're acting their ass off, especially comedically acting. That's fucking the hardest.
Yes, absolutely. Comedic acting, the facial expression, just the whole physical comedy. Yeah, just so good. One of my favorite to this day. Right now, Judge Smales probably top to bottom is my favorite character in that movie when I go watch it now, just because of how good that character is. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What else you got, sir?
You know what? I went very broad in this next one, and you'll understand why. I don't know about what they did when you were in school, but in the mid to late 80s, early 90s, when you had a shorter day or they didn't have anything they're teaching, they bring the fucking cart in to watch a movie, and I'll be damned if they didn't show a musical every time, whether it be I had some of these written down, like Oklahoma, West Side Story, Sound of Music. They would, because they were safe. They knew they weren't going to be offensive. They weren't going to be anything bad in them. They didn't, as long as there was something in the dark while the kids slept and whispered to each other, and the teachers didn't have to do shit, But all of these musicals throughout like the 50s, 60s, or in general musicals, I despised as a kid. The people just singing what they were supposed to be saying, and the plots were always awful. But the older I got, I have learned to appreciate them, especially the farther back you go. Like if you get into the Frank Sinatra's and the Gene Kelly's, Bing Crosby's, right? White Christmas is a great movie. And then into West Side Stories, and even today, so the musicals now, Mamma Mia, or you have like Across the Universe. Back in the early 2000s is a great movie. But I have learned to appreciate and enjoy musicals in which I did not as a child.
Oh, just musicals in general. Okay.
Musicals in general. There were so many because I knew I wanted one on my list. And that's when I was looking through. I'm like, fuck, I hated them all when I was a kid. So why not like say musicals as a movie genre? Because I now appreciate them. So I went broad, but Oklahoma, West Side Story, Sound of Music, all of those are on that, is packed into that because we were forced upon it as kids. We'll throw it on. It's the end of we're not doing anything else. So we'll just turn the lights out, turn the Sound of Music on, and just leave it at that. And I hated it. So
it's good. That's good. I'm still on the fence with a lot of that. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of those classic musicals even to this day, but I did watch White Christmas this year, and I hadn't watched it the last couple of years because, again, even that movie in my head, I'm like, there's a lot of singing, and is it really that much about Christmas? When I watched it this year, I'm like, this is a good movie. It really is a good movie.
We watch it every year.
Yeah, the Christmas numbers are great, but just it is definitely beautifully shot, and it's very warm, and it's not too much. It's the occasional song throughout the movie. It's not constant, which I like as well.
One wasn't necessarily singing your words. Like their songs were in the shows they were performing.
Correct.
Like they were performers in the movie, so that helped too.
Yeah, a couple random songs like on a train and this and that. That were okay. But yeah, you're right. For the most part, it was a practice, a number, or there's a physical number, the number on the stage.
The story of it too is fantastic.
Yeah,
where especially the beginning where they start the fucking movie with White Christmas and like all those those boys that have been at combat, and you kind of getting their melancholy of war and missing home, and they start the fucking movie that way.
Yeah. It takes the song to a different. It takes a song at a different perspective. Yeah.
Sure. Now, when I hear it, because I didn't see White Christmas for the first time, honestly, until within the past 5 years, because one of Megan's favorites. So, I'd never actually sat and watched it. I mean, I knew of it and stuff, but I never actually sat there again because I knew it was a musical and I thought I would hate it. So there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one. Another character, and this movie was released. I was a teenager, and it's still one of my favorite movies, and it definitely is a holiday movie that makes my rotation every single year. Christmas Vacation. Frank Shirley. This is the boss of Clark Griswold, played by the great Brian Doyle Murray. Yeah. When I first in the first number of years watching that movie, it's just, man, what a dislikable boss and character, and and then the more you watch that movie, and you just appreciate, first of all, how funny Brian Doyle Murray is in that role. That scene when I mentioned it, I know recently on the recent episode, but that whole scene when he's first introduced and he has all the guys following him into the boardroom, and that interaction, the awkward interaction with Clark, and just how furious he is at getting the names wrong constantly and this and that is just so good. But not only is he a very funny character, but he's kidnapped, and he appreciates and respects the fact that somebody called him out on a bad decision, that he doesn't throw the whole family in jail, which he could have, very easily.
As he should have. I mean,
yeah,
well, not the whole family. I mean, in reality, the family, I mean, they would have been detained and there would have been a whole deal, but like Eddie was the one going to jail. I don't care if we're doing reality here.
Sure. But they called me out, and then he gives them his bonus and plus some. It's just like, and he turned out to be a pretty respectable guy at the end of the day. The fact that he, got called out on something, and he changed his tone, and he's probably going to go back in there, be a better leader and everything else. I'm just like, this actually is a very good character arc for that guy in this movie, and it's just brilliantly done. So,
See, Brian
Frank
Doyle Murray
Shirley.
is one of those actors that is so great in all the little stuff that he does. I actually this year watched again, and I actually forgot that he was Bill Murray's father in Scrooged.
That's right, yeah.
When he goes back in time and sees, that's 10 pounds of veal. Brian
He was
Doyle Murray
was the Caddyshack, the guy that ran the Caddyshack and everything in Caddyshack, Bill Murray and all that stuff. Yeah, just everything he's done. It's not a huge role typically, but very good.
We probably done that category in the past, but like character actors.
We'll have to revisit that. If not, we'll have to come back to that one.
Because he's on the Mount Rushmore of character actors. You'd have to see, right?
He's up there for sure. Any others, sir?
I have one more.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is very special to me because when you're a kid, at least this is the way I saw it. When I was a kid, just like musicals, you see black and white movies and you go, oh, it's old and stuffy and the marble acting and the Peter Cushing acting. You know what I mean? That's what you think of when you're a child. And this motherfucker was on like clockwork once a year, and the concept was weird to me. They tried to redo it for everything, but It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
The movie itself was, to me, stuffy and weird, and it's old people's favorite movie, right? That's what I thought. Sure. Old people's favorite movie. So you'd see it on in the background all the time, like you watch, this part and that part. But then the older I got, I would sit down. I remember, I was probably in my 30s when I sat down and for a rewatch and go, you know what? It's a classic. I know I've seen it, quote unquote, seen it, but I've never actually sat and like watched it. And after it is, if we do, and I'm sure we have done this, but our favorite movies of all time, that is in my top 5. It being a Christmas movie doesn't matter. It's not to me. It's half Christmas movie, half regular movie.
Yeah,
It's a Wonderful Life is one of my favorite films of all time, and it started as a kid just being a stuffy movie that old people liked.
Yeah.
Now I get it. The older I am, it's a wonderful movie. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, great choice. Great choice. The last one I had was another character as a kid, and it's the same. It's a similar theme, I guess. Where as a kid, you view a character as like just mean and stuffy or whatever, and it fits a similar theme as Frank Burns and Judge Smales and Frank Shirley. I have Mr. Hand from the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which I first saw as a teenager. So this was the teacher who was like Spicoli's nemesis. My name is Mr. Hand. He was always lecturing Spicoli and everything else, and taking up his time and all that. And you go back and you watch that movie over the years, it's just a teacher basically just trying to do his job.
Right. and these piece of shit kids.
Yep. But took it upon himself.
Just being a pain in the ass.
That's right. Took it upon himself to spend extra time with this kid who definitely needed some extra guidance, to a point where he showed up at his house and to make him make up some of the wasteful time that he wasted in his classroom.
Right. He was being a good teacher. Like, now you'd make that movie and go, oh, look at this thoughtful teacher, wanting to help troubled students.
Yep, exactly.
Then he was played as the buffoon.
Yep. So actually very intelligent, kind, good, like you say, great teacher at the end of the day is what you learn about Mr. Hand.
See, I don't like That's a lot of my problem about movies from the 1980s is that they gave children so much. They made them the heroes of all these movies. That's what the 80s
Sure.
was. It was just teenagers and kids being the good guys. And
Yeah.
then if you go back, like the Goonies, those piece of shit kids had no business running amok. The good-natured businessmen come in and fairly bought out and paid fairly for these houses. And these kids are going to come in and wreck this business deal? Sacks of shit.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's my generation. That's our generation, man.
That's right. Your generation loved
Yep.
kids way too much.
We were rebellious, and
You had the Goonies and Michael Jackson.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had to fight for rock.
Yeah,
Fight,
you
fight
had to
for our right to party.
too.
That's right. You had to fight for everything. Yeah, yeah. That's the main ones I had, man.
Me too.
Any other ones? Nope.
Nope, that's it.
You know, I'll mention one more just in general, very broad one. Like you mentioned, music goes. I'll just throw this out there. Westerns. Westerns for me, my dad used to always watch Westerns as a kid. Never got it. It just, dirty, what's happening, whatever. As I grew up and Westerns has now become one of my favorite genres of film.
Sure.
You give me a good Western.
John Wayne.
Yeah. Some of those old John Wayne's just classic. The Clint Eastwood Man with No Name films.
Right.
Of course, both you and I both enjoy Tombstone, one of our favorite movies in general.
Yep, it would be in my
both
top
of us.
5.
Yeah. So just if sometimes I'm just I don't know what to watch, I can look up Westerns, find something, and it's going to be pretty good.
Absolutely.
Pretty good. So
if anything, it's like golf. You know that you could turn it on in the background. It's it's going to be not offensive. You could do what you're doing. You could take a nap if you wanted to. Like, it's comfort food.
That's right. That's right.
Love me a good Western.
Sure. Absolutely. And one thing, it's sort of like a comfort food in a way, a comfort in excitement, comfort in reliability, comfort in a good ride. Dean is a good old electric bike from our friends at RPM Bike Shop. So you can find them located in wonderful Carrollton, Ohio. You can find them out there on Facebook, online. You can also give them a call at 330-808-7792. You liked them as a kid. You still like them as an adult. Keep enjoying them. Get yourself a good electric bike from our friends at RPM Bike
right down the street.
Shop.
Brian, you go right down the street on an RPM bike. People are going to look at you like Hawkeye. They ain't going to look at you like Frank Burns.
That's right.
They're going to look at you as the main character, the cool one, the funny one. You're going to be the one everybody loves. You ain't going to eat worms. So go get yourself a bike.
That's right.
An electric bike from RPM Bike Shop.
Very good. Excellent. A question that you posed a couple of weeks ago, we haven't done it the last couple episodes because, frankly, we keep forgetting. But you posed the question, to you. What did we learn today?
Ooh, what did we learn? Okay. We should have mentioned this earlier, so I could have thought of it as we were going.
I just thought of it just now.
That's good. No. I love this. What did we learn? We learned that sometimes drinking makes people fall down. I know that. Yeah.
That's true.
What I learned that that sometimes funny things don't win awards, or sometimes non-funny things win awards for funny awards. That's the thing that happens. What about you? Did you learn anything?
I definitely learned, reflecting on this episode and preparing for it, that your perspectives on things definitely change as you get a little bit older and mature. How you looked at something when you were younger, definitely, not everything, but definitely can change to a level of appreciation as you get a little bit older. There you
I
go.
learned that John Larroquette is a goddamn national treasure.
That's right. That's right. And I have learned too that we're now coming to an end of another episode of Convincing Idiots, episode 223, Dean. So again, keep listening to us wherever you listen to podcasts on all major podcast platforms. Keep watching us on our YouTube channels. Find us online.
Leave comments below. Whatever you're listening or watching at, leave comments below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit it. Don't hit it twice because it might unsubscribe you. Fucking hit it once. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe.
That's right. That's right. Find us on our Linktree page, Linktree Convincing Idiots, a website to convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, like Dean said. And so join us next week for yet another episode of Convincing Idiots. And have we convinced you that Frank Burns is one of the greatest characters in all of television history?
Frank Burns eats worms.
Hey, did you like that video? You know you did, and we know you did. So stop screwing around and go like that video, subscribe to our channel, and join us for some more.
Ham grape.
You are going to want to watch, listen to subscribe, and all of that stupid shit you're going to want to fucking do. Do it, or I'll fucking kill your cat. This week on Convincing Idiots.
All right. Cut. Print.
That's a promo, right? That's good.
Yeah.
I think that works.